So I'm going to turn it over to Shannon Stunden Bower. She's the Research Director at the Parkland Institute, and she's going to talk about how Alberta's tax system compares, as well as there's in your kits you will see some brand new data that we managed to get out of the provincial government that's never been released, that actually shows how much Alberta would bring in if we had the same tax system as all the other provinces. So, Shannon?
Thanks, Bill, and thanks to all of you for being here today. I'm really excited on behalf of Parkland Institute to talk to these important topics and to be part of this exciting campaign. A central goal of the campaign, of course, is to get Albertans looking forward, to encourage them to look forward even more than they are already, with a concrete sense of the possibilities that are available to us as a province, and the sky is open here. Building a better tomorrow, of course, also requires a clear understanding of where we are now. And so I'd like to highlight some recent research by Parkland Institute that makes clear the disadvantages of Alberta's current tax system and underlines the pressing need for real immediate reform. So first, with respect to personal income tax, all Canadian provinces, as Bill said, but also the vast majority of jurisdictions around the world employ multiple bracket progressive income tax systems in which the rates of tax increase multiple times as set income thresholds are exceeded. That's a progressive personal income tax. Alberta's introduction of the flat tax in 2000 dramatically reduced the progressivity of Alberta's personal income tax system, and the province has been paying the price since that time. The effect of Alberta's out-of-step policy is evident when the province's personal income tax system is seen in national context. While proponents like to pretend that the flat tax somehow benefits all Albertans, the data clearly shows that this is not the case. Between incomes ranging from about $25,000 per year to about $150,000 per year, Alberta taxpayers actually pay more personal income tax than citizens of at least one other Canadian province. Substantially more. At incomes of $60,000 per year, for instance, an Alberta income earner pays about 50% more in personal income tax than an individual earning an equivalent income in either BC or Ontario. So that's not a small difference, that's a significant difference. The data on personal income tax in Alberta also clearly shows who does benefit. At an income of $300,000 per year, so quite a high income, an individual earner in another Canadian province would pay between about $35,000 per year and about $52,000 per year in tax, in personal income tax. In contrast, at that same income level of about $300,000 per year, an Alberta earner would pay only 9% in tax, so about $28,000. At high income levels, Alberta's average tax rates sit far below those of the other provinces. The flat tax has had the effect of changing how much particular income groups contribute to the total amount of tax revenue obtained. It has meant that those in the middle of the income spectrum, making between about $25,000 per year and about $75,000 per year, have seen a 4.6% increase in their share of the revenues that are available to the province, while those making over $75,000 a year have actually seen a decrease in their contribution to provincial revenues. And there's a very clear visual showing this in the Parkland Institute fact sheet that's included in your media package if you're interested in that. So just briefly, on the corporate income tax side then, since 1990 in Alberta, corporate profits have increased substantially, but corporate tax revenues have remained relatively constant. Over the past 20 years, corporations operating in Alberta have amassed substantial wealth while consistently making only very limited contributions to funding the services, such as health and education, that all Albertans need, or even to covering the costs that corporations impose on the provincial government through their operations here, such as those for infrastructure, environmental monitoring, and regulation. Alberta currently has the lowest corporate income tax in Canada at 10%. In Saskatchewan, also a resource-based economy, the corporate tax rate sits at 12%. Given that each additional percentage point of corporate tax would bring in roughly $500 million to the province, matching Alberta's system would mean an additional $1 billion for Albertans every year going forward. And a corporate income tax rate of 12%, it's important to note, would still leave us substantially lower than the corporate tax rate of 15.5%, which is in place during the years of Ralph Klein. the province with the most extreme income inequality in Canada, a province that has repeatedly pleaded poverty when asked to act on key social issues or to fulfill promises to public sector workers, such as those related to pensions, maintains personal and corporate income tax systems that exacerbate income inequality and leave billions of dollars on the table that had previously been available to be put to public purposes. Alberta needs to do better.